so much exciting stuff to share with you today. So if you are jumping on, please come on and say hello. If you are watching the replay, #replay, let me know where you're from. Let me know if this is the first time or the third time or whatever. Luke's coming back in, so we're going to see what's happening here. For those of you that don't know me, I am Victoria Bond. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spiritual empowerment coach, and I love. Oh, here we go. We've now got a cell phone, so I can say, "Hey, Michelle, Trina, Helen." So now I can see the comments. There's always a way. Thank you, Luke. There's always a way to work through everything. So here I am. Here I am. Okay, so how are you? How are you feeling? If you've done the last 2 days, how are you feeling after those 2 days? Day one, we were really going into clearing of fear. Okay. You can find the replay if you haven't done that yet. Clearing of fear. And I share with you my most powerful clearing statements in day one. This is usually just kind of held for my magnificent mediumship members and, of course, the certification. So yeah, I have been extremely generous in this community, in this competition, or this, should I say, this challenge. I've got all these C words and all the technology. I'm just like calming down and I'm bringing myself here as well. So I love to give. Okay, there is no like strings attached. I do love to give. I will always tell you what I've got coming up when it comes to offers and stuff, but there's never any pressure to buy stuff from me. If you are transforming with my free stuff, amazing. If you are in my membership or my cert, or if you are watching my podcasts, or if you're a one-to-one client, then awesome. Everybody gets whatever they require at whatever level, at whatever capacity, I suppose. So day one, clearing the fear. We actually transformed the idea of what fear is. Okay, so we actually flipped the script on fear and made it our friend. Very, very powerful, and a lot of clearings in day one. Day two, it was all about gratitude. Now, feels like it's like overdone, very cliche, but it's not. It never is. This is what I need to do. I need to give us some Paleo Santo. So day two was all about gratitude. And you guys, in this nifty little book here that I have gifted to you, that my team and I have created for you, there was a bit of homework to do when it came to gratitude. Today, there's not so much homework, but yesterday we did do an activation which had light language in it. Okay, I think there was light language in it. If you guys were here, let me know. There was a very powerful meditation activation that the guides brought through. Okay, so I have been channeling like a mofo at the moment. There's been so many spirits coming through. I've been channeling for hours and hours every day, and this is a part of those channels as well. So we're going to get into the flow soon. I'm just going to see who is here. Hi, Joanne, Lisa, Linda. Hello, 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 hello. It is so weird seeing myself on a screen. Okay. So where are you from? If you're jumping on, say hello. I'm just going to remind you as well, a little bit of housekeeping. You can access this from the guides that are in my Awaken community with Victoria Bond. This is where we are live streaming right now. The replays will also be in the guides under replays for Awaken Your Spiritual Gifts. And you can watch this as many times as you want, basically. Yesterday, I also gifted an activation, a meditation. It was a money light language meditation activation. And it was very, very powerful. And for those of you who were live and you put the emoji in, the heart emoji, my team and myself are sending you through that as we go. So full of giveaways. Okay. I honestly, I was like, I'm doing one giveaway this time. Nope. I'm doing more than that. The other thing is, if you want to go into the draw for a 30-minute one-to-one session with me, and I don't do these. Okay, you can't just go purchase 30-minute reading with me. Like, I don't do them. I don't work for anything less than $2,000 for a session. So if you want to have the opportunity to be face-to-face with me over Zoom, obviously, and ask me any questions, pick my brain, get a reading from me, get some coaching about your, your business or anything like that, you can utilize that 30 minutes however you want in obviously the niche that I'm coaching, and whether it's spiritual mentorship, whatever. Okay, so to win that, you have to share this. You have to show up. You have to comment. You've got to be as active as you possibly can. I know it's hard if you are juggling kids and stuff, but if you share and you tag me in that on your stories and your Facebook page, if you take a photo of this, take a screenshot of me. I think Helen took a photo of me doing light language. I was like, oh, yesterday. So I cracked up laughing at that. Share, because I've got a piece of paper. I'm very old school, and I'm writing down everyone's names every time I see it. And some of you have got like 5 little ticks next to your name. Okay, so you get to go in the draw more than once, have a 30-minute session with me. I am actually only going to give away one of these sessions because they are so powerful. And but got more cool stuff coming your way. So today we're going to talk about, oh, hello, Rachel. Hey, Jess. Hey, Steph. Hey, Layla. Sip my coffee, my espresso. Today we're going to talk about the kingdom of we. I first heard about this concept. Can you guys hear me okay? I just want to sit back a little bit today. I first heard about this concept when I was going to Access Consciousness classes, and they're very, very interesting. And this whole kingdom of we that Gary Douglas channeled through or whatever, I found it really, really fascinating. Now, here is the wound most of us carry. Well, it's not about me. It has to be about you. It has to be about the kids. It has to be about the survival. It has to be about what's going on in my friends' lives and my families. But it's not about me. Ugh. I get very triggered when it comes to this, because as soon as, especially a female in this reality goes, I'm going to go and put myself first. I'm going to go and invest in myself. I'm going to, change careers or shift something, or I got a boob job, right? I'm going to get a boob job. Well, all of a sudden it's like, should you be spending that money on yourself, girlfriend? Do you think that's a wise thing to do? Oh my gosh, you're going out like the second weekend in a row. And there's this really weird thing where mothers or females, now we've probably got some males here as well, are like, it's about everybody else and it's not about me. And then we can build up some resentment with that. Now, this is a wounding. It's usually a wounding that we picked up from our own mothers or from society or the pressure from our peers. And last year I spent at least 6 months traveling 6 hours between where I lived and where we live now, and leaving my children and my husband at home to do homeschooling and all the things. And I would go for a week at a time. I'd come here for a week and work, and then I'd go home for a week and work, and then come here for a week. And sometimes kids came, sometimes they didn't. Now people, they raised their eyebrows and went, how can she be away from her kids? How can she be away from her family? I was even told by my sister, and my sister's extremely family orientated, as am I, but I was told by my mum and my sister, you need to be with your kids. My auntie said it to me. I had friends say it to me. I had other friends say, Victoria, do you, boo? And I'm like, thank you, because I'm feeling guilty. The mama guilt, right? The friendship guilt, the partner guilt. I know people. Back in the day when I was like 18, I was doing this lady's hair. She was a mum, and her husband were both going to become policemen and policewomen. And the husband didn't like it. He didn't like that she was actually faster and I think potentially stronger and was getting better grades in police school or whatever. So she quit and stayed the mum because she didn't want to rock the boat. There was too much competition. Now, where are we still doing this? Now, I've given you some pretty extreme examples there, and I know there's so many more, but where are we thinking about the now instead of actually thinking about the kingdom of we? What do I mean by that? Well, the truth is, if I hadn't traveled backwards and forwards, week by week by week by week. I was in like Inglewood for like 9 days, and I'd be like, oh, I've got to get out. My soul was just pulling me over here. I'd come here for like maybe 5 days, and then I'd go back for like 7 days, and I'd come back for 6 days. If I had not done that, if I had not followed me, the kingdom of me, which felt generative, joyful, it felt loving and expansive. It didn't feel crunchy and icky until I felt other people's projections and expectations. Okay. Give me some hearts. What is this feeling like for you? Let me know how this feels. I am getting somewhere, and we're going to clear this, honestly, big time today. So if I hadn't have done that, I would put money on it. We would not be living now here in our chosen location, which is where I was born and raised and whatever, where my soul feels like it needs to settle and do some work on the land and do a whole lot of light language and light stuff, light worker, right? I'm doing a lot of light worker. I went into Taranaki in New Zealand, and I did everything I possibly could to activate it, everything I possibly could. And it held me, and it took me back to my roots. But now it was time to be here. But I couldn't bring my whole family every single time. This is a little like sleep out area attached to the house, right? So the kingdom of we was actually listening to the kingdom of me. Now, you may not have an exact scenario. If you do, please put it below. I know of women in particular who were doing nurse training while they're being mums, while they are having another job and a side hustle, and still being like they are working their asses off. I've got friends that they work their asses off because they want something more for themselves, but also the more they do them, the more they follow this expanding feeling, this congruent energy of expansion and more. It's coming from the heart, not the head. Not like, I need to be more, so I'm going to go do all those things. I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to go to the pub and leave my kids at home all the time. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about neglect. I'm talking about contribution. And my husband said to me, he said to me when we got here, we chose this. We did this. This is the kingdom of we, because my daughter who is 9, my son that is 7, my husband that is 40, myself that is 39. Not that age has anything to do with it, but the point being, we created it all. We are all souls creating more together. And my children were fine with me going because I knew how to work energy. This is something that I went deeper into in my membership last night, actually, where we can use our energy to be with people even if they're 6 hours away. Completely different topic. So let me have a look. I totally understand this. Taranaki is calling me. I need to come home. Oh, sweetie. And you're like all the way on the other side of the world. Hello, Irina. I was like, hello. I was putting like your name and the Queen together. Hey, Tiger Lily. I met Tiger Lily over there, and she's actually my cousin, believe it or not. Hey, Christy. So good. So good. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So the kingdom of we is not selfish. And when my family and my friends and people were saying to me, how do you be away from your children and your family and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God. And I started getting my wounds, my old shadows that didn't even belong to me come in. I really did. I said to my friend as I was walking on the beach, is this bad that I'm not with my family? Is this bad? And she's like, well, no, because you're moving them here. You're going through a process, and the process doesn't look normal to the outside, but it's your process, and your husband is happy, and so are your children. And sometimes it was like, Mom, can you come home now? Okay. I'd pack my bags and I'd go home, because I trust my children to tell me what they require. We homeschooled for 6 months. We moved here. The kids automatically went into a new school extremely easily. Everything, just the handover with the houses and the money and everything just went so easily. I just worked through the whole time. Some of you may have recognized me being here and there and everywhere, but I did me. The kingdom of me is how we have the kingdom of we. Now, a question. When you want to do something, you ask a question. So the question is, and you may want to write this down, Is this for the highest good of the kingdom of we? Okay, you can see if you've got this book here, it says the kingdom of we. So maybe you could just write a question there. Is this in the highest good of the kingdom of we? Now, I would ask myself that question, and yes, it was, and yes, we are here, and yes, we are extremely happy. We are growing, we are thriving. My children are both at play dates right now, both asked from other people's, from their friends' parents, hey, would Adelaide like to come? Would CJ like to come to the pools? From the neighbor? That sounds great. Today I asked for space and my kids to be entertained so I could show up to this challenge and be all of who I be and prepare by doing yoga and going for a run and having a beautiful breakfast. All that. The kingdom of me is going to help the kingdom of we. Such a simple concept. But why am I bringing up these simple concepts in this mini program, this 10-day challenge program, right? Why am I doing it? Because we bypass the basics and we go, oh, shiny penny carrot. We want that thing. We want that thing. And there is steps and steps and steps and processes and layers and layers and layers. And a lot of them are internal. So when I was getting the guilt, I was like, oh, that sinking feeling. I am a selfish person. Who do I think I am? I should be with my children. Are you kidding me? They've got a dad, right? They've got a dad who works full time in our business with me, right? And that he is just as capable as me. He is the mother father and I am the mother father. It's our life by our design. This is how we designed it. I said, can you please quit your job? Because I want you to come work full time in our business and I want us to make an impact on the world. This is going to help the kingdom of we, which is the collective consciousness. If you go beyond your family unit, maybe you don't have a family at home, right? Doesn't matter. The kingdom of we is the collective consciousness, but you must start with yourself. It's the same story I've been saying over and over and over, right? But it's like this build up. It's this build up. It's this build up. It's this filling up of the cup. And now we know that we can show up and do freaking 10-day free challenges like this when our cup is full. Do I get tired? Yep. Do I get depressed? Nope. When I'm tired, I sleep and I rest. That's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon after a sales call. I'm going to be getting excited about tomorrow. So what does that mean for you? What would you like to do? What would you like to do? See, I just worked through the fear of leaving my family and hoping that it worked. When I moved to a place that's going to cost me, the houses are like hundreds of $1,000s more. I worked through the gratitude, so grateful that my husband will just let me do whatever I want and support our children and support our business. And then the kingdom of we, it was really much like, how can I show my children how to be all of who they be by following me following me, and them following them. How does that feel for you? Does this make sense? Let me have a look. Always put others before me. Yeah, and it feels so foreign to only have me now. But you have got the kingdom of we. You have still got your beautiful son. You have got this whole entire collective, and it is time to put you first so you can create more of a ripple effect of change, Jenny, because you are so beautiful. All of you are very beautiful. Well done on following your dream heart, moving towards it takes many steps. Yeah, it does. And the other thing as well that we really need to remember, this is just another little pit stop. I'm settling here. Yeah, I'm settling here. Do you think I'll be in this house in the next 2 years? No, probably not. Depending on me and the universe and my subconscious and what we actually come up with. I desire greatness for the collective consciousness. But for me, to live out my incarnation cross, which is like the Eden cross of something or other, left cross of Eden, I can't be a martyr. I don't want to be a martyr. I want to be powerful and humble and loving. I desire to help activate people, but I can't do it from an empty cup. I can't do it from depleted. And if you look at me now, like, have I been tired today? Yes, I've gone through ebbs and flows. I mean, I went for a run at like 6 o'clock this morning, and God knows when you're close to 40, it's really a lot harder. And when you've got a lot more weight on than you used to, just legit, there's logistics, right? But I'm perfectly feeling aligned because I gave myself a meditation before, because I've been able to be generous, which is coming from a place of service, because I know my children are looked after and happy, because I know that my husband's watching right now to support me, right? Whilst he's probably doing the dishes or emailing somebody. I know that I'm doing my very, very best at this point in time to be me. And for me to be a martyr, for me to carry other people's crosses. And I had a lot of visions in Kundalini yoga today about the crosses and about Jesus Christ. Like, I was like, why do we carry crosses? We have to carry our own. We're not here to carry other people's. We're really, really not. There's a really loud helicopter. Hey, you did it. Yeah. I've always put everyone else first, trying to change that. I made a very clear contract to myself. Okay. I did a contract to myself. Usually I'm like revoking contracts and breaking them up, but I made a commitment contract. This is what we do. As soon as you come into magnificent mediumship, there's a helicopter landing, like honestly, just over there. I'm like, amazing. The interesting things I see. Hopefully everyone's okay. But I made a conscious contract to myself to put myself first. As soon as people join my certification, I think it's even in the book now, we have a MM book. I'm like, go look at this contract, sign this contract, post this contract. Because people get to the third time of showing up to the challenge or the paid membership and they go, I can't do this. I've got children I look after, and I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this. Here is the problem. And I get that, because I was at a stage one day that I felt like didn't even have 20 minutes a day to myself. Like I had really hard babies and suffered postnatal depression pretty severely. And instead of saying I don't have this time, I made it. That sounds, I know, really triggering and annoying, but I'm gonna elaborate. I asked for more space. Dear universe, God, source light, all the things, higher consciousness, if you would like me to live in my alignment, live out my purpose and my mission, and be all that I can be, which I am willing to do, then please create more space for me to be me. Thank you, Victoria. Magic and miracles happened. And because I was willing to be a part of the kingdom of we, I was willing to be me. And it's the hardest thing you'll ever do is looking inside here. There's a stuff you don't want to see. There's a stuff that you did when maybe you were a child or a teenager or a young adult that you go, ugh, I can't believe I wasn't there for that person for that. Oh my goodness, I regret, like you thinking into the past, unless you were doing it consciously and actually unraveling, and you're doing it like nearly like a somatic release. It's not a thing we should be doing. We should be looking forward into where we want to go. Okay. And all of a sudden, all the space opened up for me. And just like today, I asked for space and the neighbor goes, can I take your child to the pools? Yes, please. That would be great. Another friend messaged and said, hey, can your daughter come over for a play date, please? I'm like, yes, thank you. That would be amazing. Now I just have my husband and I here and we are chilling out. We are doing this, and space opens up. I started getting a window of space every day where I could meditate. That was my kingdom of we, because it was the kingdom of me. My kingdom of me is always going to want to be a contribution to the external, but I knew I couldn't do it from an empty cup because I was depressed. Makes sense? I'm just using my examples. As soon as you speak the words, it arrives. How does this feel for you? How does this resonate with you? Because I know you may be super awakened, you might be super awake, but I also know you're all very busy, whether you have family or not. It is a busy life. And even if you don't have a busy life, then you've got a busy mind. How can we not be busy with screens and laptops and all the things? It's gone a lot faster than it used to be. And our brains, our human is not actually ready to cope with it, but our being is. Our human and our being being bigger. I'd love to know your thoughts. Put them in the chat box while I have a sip of my drink. Okay, what's the time? Alrighty. How does this feel for you? How does it feel? By the way, you don't have to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10 in sequence. I have created it that way, but I'm also making them like singular trainings. So you can go back to the fear one after this. You can go back to whatever. I like to do things singular for those like me who are projectors or manifestors or mani-gens even, who just love to just dive into whatever pops out at them. So that's kind of interesting. And I also like to do things in sequence and make things nice and step by step by step by step for the generator energies, and some many gens as well who like to actually have, and 1/3s in human design, that like to go from the front to the back. I certainly am not a person like that. I quite often go to different chapters of books and read them. I'm a little bit ADHD all over the place with that. And I think that's a part of the beauty of me and the beauty that I bring to the kingdom of we. So your personality, whoever you be, whatever your energy is, whatever your insights are, whether you're quiet, whether you talk lots, whether you're vivacious, whether you are like more introvert, everything about you, and when you are your most authentic self, is extremely powerful. So let's do some clearing on balances. It feels so good. Yeah. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Like, and you're like, ah, it's like Kundalini yoga when we breathe in and then we go, ah. And quite often it takes me about 20 breaths before I can go, ah, because we're holding ourselves all the time, right? We're in the kingdom of we've got to be a service. Your service starts with you. It's just like with pleasure practices. Thank you, spirits. I said I would talk about pleasure practice because yesterday we ran out of time. Now, if you've been to a sexologist, and I have had a session with a sexologist, and I said to my husband, I'm having a session with a sexologist, and he was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, and I'm having a burlesque shoot as well. Like, it's all for me. And he's like, okay. And I was like, it's literally all about me and my orgasmic pleasure and what pleasure really means. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. So it was really great having these conversations with my husband, who I've been with since I was 16. So points of views have shifted a lot. And there was a lot of trauma around sex when I was young because of my upbringing, and I wasn't allowed to do it. And I was doing it, but I wasn't allowed to do it. So it was this polarity of naughty girl guilt, like naughty girl excitement, naughty girl guilt, and then it actually turned into an alcohol addiction because in my 20s I just felt overconsumed with guilt and could not have sex. I couldn't unless I was drunk, because I felt so freaking guilty because of the wounds that I had from when I was a kid, because I was told not to, with no rhyme or reason, even though my mum was pregnant when she was walking down the aisle. Now, that is not my mum's fault, by the way. It's not her fault at all. But for me, it really, I came, my 39th year, and I was like, I want to talk to a sexologist because I don't have issues anymore. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I have got a great connection with my beautiful husband of 22 years. We've been together. He's a fabulous person in all ways, shapes, and forms. But what about me? What about my pleasure? What about real pleasure, not fast pleasure? Okay, you with me here? I'm kind of trying to speak in code just in case there's kids around, because I won't go too explicit here on Facebook. I do go more deep, if you will. I go more into the layers of all of these conversations in my membership, which is called Magnificence Membership. If you want to know more about that membership, I've got a hot special for you guys at the moment. Put a star in the comments and myself or my team will get back to you. Okay, a star in the comments if you want to know about my membership, not certification, membership. Very, very small price to be in it. Anyway, I hired the sexologist. Her name is Morgan Penn. She is a New Zealander. She's fabulous. You can find her. You can find her on Spotify, and she's got podcasts and all the things. And she told me that really my pleasure practice had nothing to do with my husband. And the only thing I should be doing with my husband to begin with, to start really at ground zero, is to sit there and basically have 3 minutes each of touching each other, not in a sexual way, but more in a way of receiving each other's energy. So like, could you please touch my face? How does that feel? Well, could you please touch it a little bit harder? Actually, like, maybe you like really hold my face. Oh, that feels good. Now hold my chin, and it was this listening to each other, not doing what we think we are meant to do. And so I haven't really done a lot of that with Luke, but what I learned for myself is about coming into a pleasure practice of dancing and breathing. And what is the material I'd like to wear today? What would I like to wear, and what feels good on my face, and what jewelry, and looking at myself and going, oh, I love your body as it is now. A pleasure practice is about, like, today I have, nope. Let's see if I can, a candle. That could have been a disaster. I have my smudging sticks. I have my perfumes. I allow myself to touch my body. So it's nothing too intense. It's nothing too radical. It's not like getting out the adult toys and going for gold just for a release. There's a difference between a release and a deep connection with self. The pleasure of we and the pleasure of me comes down to sexuality as well. It really, really does. It is so important to understand that as children, we have a natural sexual energy. It is called source energy, right? It doesn't mean that we're going off and doing the deed. It means that we know the kingdom of me is a contribution to the kingdom of we. Okay, you guys still with me here? Let me know how this feels for you. So if we do shut down our hearts, if we shut down our bodies, right? And if we are like, oh, we're just doing this because it's something that we have to do because we are married or because we need a release, then we're missing a huge pleasure part of humanity. We are sensory beings. We are human. We have our being. And when we come together, being to being or being with human, just like as an individual expression of ourselves, we come to places of pleasure, of orgasmic energy that may not be connected to sex, right? How does this feel for you? I know I'm going down a rabbit hole and I'm going to start wrapping it up in a minute. I do like to, I don't want to say trigger, I like to activate, but sometimes you may be triggered when it comes to, whoa, that's a little bit too much, right? And this is me not going far, to be honest. Like in my groups, we go a lot deeper. In the memberships in the Magnificent Mediumship Certification, you have a chance to ask me anything. Okay. So how can we understand that pleasure practice, sexuality, like the orgasmic energy, the self-love, the choosing for ourselves, the asking the questions, is this for the kingdom of we, or is this for the kingdom of me? Now, sometimes if it is selfish, if you're more narcissistic than you are codependent, right? It's not a bad thing. It's a scale. Narcissism, codependent. If you are more codependent, you may be more inclined to think selfishly. Now, sometimes that may not be in the benefit of the kingdom of we, that is actually purely the kingdom of me. So somebody that leaves their kids at homes and they're going and doing drug binges and their kids are missing them and they're part-time parents because they're fueling an addiction, that is not the kingdom of we. That is literally like an addiction. So we need to actually ask, is this for the highest purpose of the kingdom of we? I don't want to leave my kids every other week for 6 months, but I am so pulled towards that place 6 hours away that if I don't, I feel like I'm fading away. I feel like I'm shrinking, and that is not for the kingdom of we, because I'm not being all of who me be. So sorry. That is like legit, like that's so funny. Yeah. So I've got a special, Layla. So message me about that. Okay. DM me or put the star in the comments if you want to know about the membership, because I have got a special at the moment, but you have to go into my DMs to find out. So I will message you about that. The Magnificent Mediumship certification, that is 4444. So that is $4,500. You get $1,000 off if you pay in full. Okay. So that is a special that I have at the moment. It begins at the end of February. So 22nd of February, not very far away, actually. About 2.5, 3 weeks, we begin the MM certification. But the membership is a bit different. It's an ongoing thing. There's no contracts. There's a special price at the moment. You get to come in, you get to consume the library of knowledge. There's all about walk-ins, all about energy, all about attachments, clearing houses, you name it. There's masterclasses. It is next level, and you get to have a live session with me every week in the group. So it's very, very powerful. We had a lot of tears last night in our mediumship. Our magnificent, so many M's, magnificent membership. So back into the channel. Sorry, okay, it's like two parts of me coming in. So logistics, it's like channeling, it's like, okay, so how do you feel about the balance in your life? This is a huge part. And if you journal on this, even if you don't come to any conclusion, you will transform and shift. So many people transform and shift after these sessions, and they don't know. They just know that sometime in February, they went through a huge transformation, and they can't pinpoint it was this session, right? But I promise you, people will be shifting massively. They always do. That's why I keep doing these. How do you feel about the balance currently in your life? And can you please dissolve and eliminate all points of views, considerations, projections, expectations, and imprints throughout all time, spaces, and dimensions that are connected to the word balance? It's a biggie. Why is this a big deal? Because you've got to balance yourself. You've got to balance yourself. You've got to balance yourself. Well, I'm sorry, but right now I'm in a sprint. And I'm really focused on that, right? I will balance later when I rest for 2 days. That's my balance. Other times, my harmony, right? My harmony and balance doesn't look like anybody else's. I've already had an hour lie down, been for a run in Kundalini yoga today. I've got a little bit more to go. And then I'm going to be a sloth and watch catfish probably, and eat some wedges and sour cream for dinner, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, so that is my harmony, right? Yesterday I did like a 12-hour day, and people go, there's not much balance, and I'm like, well, but I know my own harmony. And right now, and listen to me carefully, I am in my summer when it comes to my period cycle. I can see where the moon is, and the moon is nearly full. And I'm like, oh, and I'm starting to get quite wired. So I stay grounded. But right now I'm in my summer. I got a lot of energy to give. When we're in those ovulation, those stages, we're like, yes, we're out there. We've got the energy. And then we come into our autumn. We come into our winter, right? You don't have to have your period to be going through cycles. We've got the moon as well. We've got our own rhythms. We've got our own patterns. And this is where we find our harmony, our balance. Get it? Balance does not have to look like somebody else's balance. Some days I will work an hour. Some days I will work 12. Some days I'll work 16, and then I won't work for 4 days. And I don't know what I'm going to do until the day, because it's all about how I feel and what cycle and rhythm I'm in. It's about the pleasure I bring into my life. And if I'm not feeling pleasure, if I'm not feeling connected to my body, right? If I'm just like, go, 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 and I'm not connected to my human, then I burn out. But I'm not burnt out after my 12-hour day yesterday, right? How does that feel? I prefer harmony to balance. Yeah, interesting point of view, isn't it? Balance is, to me, feels, it feels like I'm on a swing and I've got to keep going, and it depends on what's happening. Where harmony, it's like, I just want to stay, a seesaw, right? Seesaw. So harmony for me is like, just want to stay on the ground. I don't want to be up in the air at the moment. Oh, now I want to do this because someone's come along. Oh, now I want to stay up. What do I want right now in this minute? I saw this at yoga class today. I was like, interesting. I'm in my summer cycle. The moon is doing its thing. I think the 13th gate is in the sun or whatever, and that's what I am, it's a big part of my HD. And I was like, I'm feeling these feelings. TikTok is, becoming quite big for me. I'm loving this challenge. I love my membership. It is next level. And then I'm like, it's interesting how I've positioned my yoga mat in front of the door to the external of the yoga, where other times I've got a nice warm jersey on and I'm at the other end by the wall, where it's like I'm tucked away at the back. Other times I'm right up the front. And I was like, I position myself in yoga depending on the harmonic expression that I'm feeling at the time. I eat, sometimes I have hot chocolate. It's nice and warm in the wintertime. Other times I'm like, give me a lemon, lime and bitters. Give me a sparkly drink or a water, a warm drink or a Coke, depending on me and how I feel. Interesting concept. So where are we putting ourselves into these interesting points of views of what balance needs to look at? I say, if the balance off and go, what do you need? What is the way that you work? I'm in a sprint. I said to one of my friends, she used to be my coach, right now I'm in a sprint. She called it something else, but I called it a sprint, right? She goes, I think you're talking about the cycles. And I was like, yes, to me, it's a sprint. And then I rest and then I recover and then I download and then I sprint again. And they all go in with the harmonic balance. The kingdom of me helps the kingdom of we. I am not a cookie cutter. Like, I'm not a cookie from a cookie cutter, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm the tangible thing there. I am me, the blueprint. You are you, the blueprint. Okay. I hope I'm still with you guys. I feel like I'm talking in riddles today. It's how we feel, the feels. Thank you, Elisa, 100%. The way we are going forward into 2027, this is why I really do so much free stuff and invite people to come into my memberships at the low cost. That's why I've got it. That's why I have my cert, because we are coming to a place where we are making our own money, where we are making our own life by design, where we are creating magic and miracles, where I don't want to be just like this, the mum doing everything, because it's exhausting for me. I desire my husband to everything with me, right? And we still have extremely independent lives, believe it or not. It's so strange. I was like, we need to have some time together. I feel like I haven't had any one-to-one time with you for so long. And he goes, it will happen, because he knows we're in a sprint. He knows we're in summer seasons. He knows it's a full moon. Interesting, isn't it? Very conscious of this at the moment. Yeah, what were you replying to? Let me have a look. Yeah, the 4444 is the certification, Layla, and the membership is cheap as chips at the moment, although chips have gone up in price. I'm not gonna lie. So I've got like no contracts, nothing binded. You just come in, 2 weeks notice, you can jump out, you can consume all the information and you can jump out. And it's, yeah, like I said, I've got a very special for those who are interested, but you've got to slide into my DMs and myself or my team will get back to you about what that special offer is. Let's just say it's a little bit of a gift for being here and listening to this. So put a star in the comments if you want to know more information about the membership. There's no sales call attached to that. There's no persuading or convincing. I don't need to. It is got the most phenomenal people in it, phenomenal people, and it is the most incredible thing. And if you feel called to it, then hit me up. If you don't, then sweet as well. Okay, so where do you overgive? I'm going to start wrapping this up because we've hit our 45 minutes. Where do you feel you overgive? Please write it down. Even if you're writing it down and you're like, oh, no, I can't be fucked doing this, do it, because it's going to transform your life. I realized I was overgiving to friends when they weren't even asking for overgiving. And then I realized I was trying to prove myself to be worthy of being their friend. I realized I was overgiving with my clients when I was making sure that we went exactly to the 90 minutes, like we had to get to the 90 minutes or the 2 hours or whatever the session was, but I would always give them extra. Even if we were done 30 minutes before. Now I just go, look, I think we're done now. Got a few minutes to go, but you've got what you need. Is there anything else you need? I realized my value was me, not the time I put into things. interesting conversation in our membership about that last night from a projector who was like, how can I give the same amount in a short amount of time? Intention, 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 intention. Okay. Where do you overgive still? And it's so cool looking back and seeing where I used to overgive. I used to give people hair products, free hairdos, clothes, literally, oh, you like this dress? You can have it. I would give them jewelry and I go, it looks better on you. You can have it. I didn't think I was worthy. I know I just watched a documentary on anorexia on Netflix, and so interesting. And the common thread that the girl said was they didn't feel like they were worthy of the food. So one of them said, I can eat out of the bin, I can eat off the floor, but I can't eat if someone gives it to me because I don't believe I'm worthy of the food. I mean, that broke my heart. It's a disease in itself. And it's a worthiness wound. And that's where a lot of this had stemmed from, is the pressure, and it was the wound of worthiness. So it's really, really interesting how we perceive our own worthiness and where we overgive. Overgiving is not from the kingdom of we. It is from a lack of the kingdom of me. Okay. I do that too, always trying to please. Yeah, I'm so glad you're in the membership, Helen. Oh, good. It's honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done. I know I say that all the time. I love Cert. It is magic and it transforms every time, depending on the people. And obviously I'm always evolving, as we all are. But the membership, like, people show up in the tears. Like, I'm just feeling so in love with people at the moment. We are here to be community. We are here to come together. I just did a podcast on community. I think it was this week, was it, Luke? And we are here to come in as community, but we've got to be the kingdom of we. We've got to be the kingdom of me for the kingdom of we. Okay. I know there's a lot of kind of paradox energy here, and I know it seems a little bit crazy, but I'm doing it on purpose. For your brain. Should have done psychology, but didn't pass school. And apparently you've got to have really high grades in intellectual intelligence to do psychology. But I understand the concepts of the subconscious. And I understand that today you have transformed. There may have not been any light coding today. There may have not been a meditation, but I promise you something is transformed. What do you love doing and where are you applying it? And I want you to pop this in the chat box, okay? I want accountability. What do you love doing and where are you applying it? Unworthiness is a hard one to overcome. You're right. It is hard. But it's not hard if you commit to yourself. Because all those fuckers in this reality, I hope they don't like burn me off for swearing, that have tried to put you down or tried to make you feel smaller, and then you beat yourself up for letting them, right? They are just simply mirroring their own unworthiness on you. So yeah, we've got to go back some time to heal some wounds. Yeah. But what we realize is a lot of the time they weren't even ours, just like my sexual guilt for being not underage, but not married. Right? I don't want to get married. I ran away the first time Luke and I went to get married. I was a runaway bride. I was like, I can't do this. Thank goodness it wasn't down the aisle, but I ran away for 2 years. I went inward and went, who the hell is Victoria? Not the voices of my mum or my dad or what a 23-year-old should do. Me. I want to get married when I want to get married. I want to have sex because it's a beautiful contribution to the world, to the earth, to me, to my partner. And I want to be authentic in everything I do. So my pleasure practice is important, whether that is a sexual pleasure practice or whether it's a touch or whether it's going to Kundalini yoga or whether it's going for a walk on the beach and feeling the earth or smelling the incense or doing my own ceremony or dancing with joy or connecting in a community and doing free stuff with absolutely no expectations, but simply offering if people want to come and be in my vortex. It's pleasure to me. It's pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. I love creating. Yes, Jenny, you are such a creator. I love co-creating with others. Yes. I love talking. I love channeling. Sometimes I come out of a channel like I did in Magnificence last night in the membership, and I just was like, oh, I want to stay in that 5D energy. I want to stay channeling, but I remember how amazing it is to be in this reality. And channeling for like 12 hours yesterday, on and off. was hard on my human. I've actually got like red hand from dermatitis, from inflamed in my body because I went a little bit too hard. But it's okay. I rested, I recuperated, I look after my body, I eat well, I drink, I exercise. But we need to understand that joy creates so much expansion. And I hope, right, and I'm going to wrap this up right now, but I hope that you can feel that what I'm sharing with you is coming from my heart. Otherwise, there's no way I'd do it. I'd be hanging out with my kids. If it doesn't match hanging out with my kids, which is the most funnest thing to do in the world because I get to snuggle them and cuddle them and watch kids' movies. If it doesn't match my kids, I don't do it. Okay, so my heart to yours, and I bow from me to you for coming today. Make sure you drink some water. I love the channeling for my creativity and your flower mandalas. Yes, I love that. It must be in our genes, eh? Totally, our genetics. Thank you for being here. If you do feel called to come to the next 7 days, please do. Please share, take a screenshot, share on your stories, share on your Facebook group, share with your friends. If anyone wants to be part of this challenge, I desire for everybody to have the opportunity to transform in this free program. And considering that there is a lot of hardship around at the moment, that is a legit thing for some people, it's such a beautiful gift. Okay. And yes, I will always offer my stuff for those who want to go further. So we've got the membership, which is a super duper special intro price at the moment. Message me for the details. We've got the magnificent mediumship certification. If you have done that before, then you get the second time half price. If it's the third time, because a lot of people do it like 3 or 4 times because they love it that much. If you're doing it the third time, you get it for free. Okay. For the certification. So yeah, so much love. Slide into my DMs if you want to know how to work with me more. I've got 3 spots for one-to-one as well at a very special deal as well. And tomorrow we're going into signs and synchronicities. This is day 3 of the challenge, Awaken to Your Spiritual Gifts. There is an unraveling and an unfolding and like an opening up of our spiritual gifts as we go through these processes. Okay, that is me sending so much love to you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye.